Hi everyone. Hope you all are good. We are here for grade 7 math. You can find all the lessons on aplusstudents.com. You have to log in there using your email address and password as provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab, scroll down to grade 7 and then click on view all lessons. So there you can find a list of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapter probability, and the lessons we're going to cover today are identify dependent and independent events, probability of dependent and independent events, factorials, and permutations. So please make sure you have your notebook and pencil so that you can note down the important examples and definitions as well. So let's just start with the lesson. Here I am on grade 7 math. Chapter we are on right now is probability, and the lesson we're going to start with is identify independent and dependent events. Okay, so we're going to learn what are the dependent and independent events, right? So, to first of all, the example of the definition of the dependent events is two events are dependent if the outcome of the first event can affect the outcomes of the second event, right? Just look at the example and explain how, right? Caroline buys a house in a new neighborhood. A few months later, Stecky buys a different house in the same neighborhood. Are these two events dependent or independent? They are the dependent events. How? Look, first Caroline buys a house, right? And now, after the few months, Stecky buys a different house in the same neighborhood. But Stecky cannot buy the same one that Caroline buy, right? That means Stecky have one less options than the Caroline. So outcomes of the second event is affected by the outcomes of the first event, right? That means the outcome of the first event can affect the outcome of the second event. So that is the dependent event. The correct option is dependent it is. Let's just start with the practice questions, right? A school counselor is looking over a pile of class request forms. One form requests weight training as an elective, another form requests ceramics. Are these two events independent or independent? So, which is the correct option? They are the independent events, right? Because he have simply two forms, right? And they are the independent events. They are not related. The forms are not related to each other, so the events are the independent events. The correct option is independent, right? Dakota buys a sculpture at an art show featuring one of a kind art. After a few minutes later, Calais comes to the same art show and buys a sculpture too. Are these two events dependent or independent? So which is the correct option? They are the dependent events. How? They have only one of a kind art, right? So first Dakota by an sculpture. Now for the Calais, he have one less option because one already Dakota by. So he have one less option. So that means the outcomes of the first event can affect the outcomes of the second event. So that means they are the dependent events. The correct option is dependent, right? Brian picks a marble at random, put it back, and then picks another marble at random. Are these two events dependent or independent? Okay, so he picks a marble. First time he picks a marble, but then he put it back, right? That means when he is going to pick another one, he have again the four marbles because the one he put earlier he put it back, right? So that means the correct option is they are the independent events. They are the independent events, right? So the correct option is independent, right? They are the independent events. Got it? The correct option is independent. Okay, the next one is Victor picks a card at random without putting the first card back. He picks a second card at random. Are these two events dependent or independent? So, which is the correct option? So, first times he picks a card, right? And he didn't put it back. So, for the second time, he have one less option, right? That means these two events are the dependent events. The correct option is dependent event because he didn't put the card back. So now for the second time he have one less option. So that means they are the dependent events. The correct option is dependent events. They are. Got it? The correct option is dependent events. In history class, Monica has to select a historical figure to dress up as. The Bunny will select one too. There are no repeats allowed. Are these two events dependent or independent? So, which is the correct option? So, no repetitions allowed, right? That means the one Monica selected, no one is going to select the same dress. So, for the rest of them, they have one less option. So, outcomes of the first event can affect the outcomes of the seventh event. That means they are the dependent events. The correct option is dependent events. They are the dependent events. Got it? The correct option is dependent. On the patio of a Brennan's pizzeria, the Atkinson family decides on a type of pizzas to order. In the back of a restaurant, a group of friends also chooses the pizza to order. Are these two events dependent or independent? So, which is the correct option? They are the independent events, right? Because they can order the same pizza, so they are the independent. They are the independent events, right? The correct option is independent. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. So let me just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is probability of independent and dependent events. So let's just see. Now we know how to identify the independent and dependent events. Now we're going to see how do we calculate the probability of these events, right? So let's just start with the first example. You pick a card at random. Without putting the card back, you pick a second card at random. What is the probability of red and blue? Write your answer as a percentage. So that is the dependent event, right? How? Because you pick a card at random, then you didn't put the card back, right? So for the second time, you have one less options, right? So have to write the probability of a red and blue. So calculate the probability of red. That is for the first time. You have one, two, three, four, five cards, right? So that means the probability of red is, because you have three red cards, that would be 3 out of 5. Now you didn't put this card back. You're going to pick the blue card. You have now four options, right? Because you already picked one card, you didn't put the cards. Look, you have now only four options. Here are the here is the four options. You have only four options now. You are going to pick the blue card. You have two blue cards out of four, so the probability is 2 out of 4, right? You need to multiply both the probabilities to calculate the total probability, probability of red and probability of blue. So you have to do two times. The probability of picking the red card is 3 by 5 and the blue is 2 by 4. So you need to do 3 times 2 is 6 by 20, because you need to write the answer in the percentage form. So just divide and multiply. That would be 30%. The correct option is 30%, right? That's how the probabilities are affected when the events are dependent, right? In this example, they are the dependent events. Got it? Let's just start with the test questions. Okay, you pick a card at random, put it back, then pick another card at random. You have the cards 2, 3, 4, or 5. What is the probability of even and less than 5? Simplify your answer. Now they are the independent events because you put the card back, right? For the first time, you have four cards 2, 3, 4, 5. For the second time, you have again the same four cards, right? So that means they are the independent events, right? Okay, the first one is you are going to find the probability of even. What is the probability of even you are going to find, right? So probability of even is, you have two numbers even, 2 and 4. That is 2 out of 4. Got it? For the second time, you need to calculate the probability of less than 5. So you have one, two, three numbers that are less than 5. So that is 3 out of 4. The correct option is 3 out of 4. So you need to multiply these two probabilities, the probability of even and the probability of less than 5. You need to multiply them. That would be 2 by 4 times 3 by 4. That is 6 divided by 16, and 2 times 3 is 6 and 2 times 8. So the correct option is option number 1, that is 3 over 8. Got it? If you have any question, you can please ask. The correct option is 3 over 8. Option number 1 is the correct option, right? Okay, the next one is, You pick a card at random. That's the same example we did on the tutorial. You pick a card at random without putting the first card back. You didn't put the card back. You pick a second card at random. What is the probability of red and blue? That they are the dependent events, right? Because the probability of the second event is affected by the probability of the outcomes of the second event are affected by the outcomes of first event, right? They are the dependent events. That's the same one we did in the tutorial, if you remember. First time you pick the red card, you have five options, right? The total option outcomes are five, so probability of red is 3 out of 5. Now you didn't put the card back, you are going to select another one, that is the probability blue card you are going to select. You have now, this is not here because that is the one you picked earlier. Now you have just four cards, one, two, three, four. You have two blue out of four. So that means the probability of red and blue is 3 over 5 times 2 over 4. That is 6 over 20. You need to find the answer in the percentage form. You have to multiply it by the 100. So that is 5 times 6 is 30. That is 30%. The correct option is, that is 30%. So the correct option is 30%. The correct option is 30%. Got it? Option number 1 is the correct option. The correct option is 30%. You roll a six-sided die two times. What is the probability of odd and the probability of even? So when we are working on the dice and the spinners, they are always the independent events, right? Because you have to roll whatever number you have. So they are the independent events, right? So first time you have to calculate the probability of odd. So on the dice you have six numbers. Three of them are even and three of them are odd. So let's just calculate the probability of odd first, right? The probability of odd is three of them are odd. That is 3 out of 6, right? And then the probability of even. Three of the numbers are even. That is 3 out of 6, right? So you need to calculate the probability of odd and the probability of even. That is 3 by 6 times 3 by 6. So 3 times 3 is 9 and 6 times 6 is 36. That is 1 out of 4. You need to calculate, write the answer in the percentage form, multiply it by the 100. That is 25%. The correct option is 25%, right? So the correct option is option number 1, that is 25%. Got it? The correct option is option number 1, that is 25%. You pick a marble at random without putting the first marble back. You pick a second marble at random. What is the probability of red and the probability of white? These events are the dependent events, right? Because you didn't put the marble back. So they are the outcomes of the second events are affected by the outcomes of the first event. Got it? So let's just start with let's calculate the probability of red. You have one, two, three, four, five red marbles out of seven. That is 5 out of 7. Now you didn't put the marble back. You have now one less marble, right? For the second time, when you are going to pick the white marble, you have six marbles, and two of them are white. That is 2 out of 6. Got it? You need to calculate now, just multiply both the probabilities. Probability of red and white, you have to do 5 by 7 times 2 by 6. So 5 times 2 is 6, 5 times 2 is 10, and 7 times 6 is 42. So the correct option is 10 divided by 42, you can convert them into simple form. Simplest form, then that would be 5 out of 21. The correct option is option number 1. Divide them by the 2, that is 5 out of 21. Option number 1 is the correct option, right? So the correct option is option 1, that is 5 out of 21. Got it? So you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. Okay, the next lesson is factorial. Let's just start with the next lesson, that is factorials. Okay, so we need to evaluate 4 factorial, right? First, we need to understand what is the factorial. So basically, a whole number followed by an exclamation mark is called a factorial. Right here, you have written 4 and then an exclamation mark. This is the example of the, here it is. This is 4 and then exclamation mark. This is Hello, can you hear me? Okay, so we're going to start evaluating 4 factorial, right? So let's just start with 4 factorial equals. You have to evaluate, you need to find the product of 1 and between the given number, right? So you have to do 1 times 2 times 3 times 4. 1 times 2 times 3 times 4, right? 4 times 3 is 12 and 12 times 2 is 24. So the correct option is 24, right? The correct option is 24 is the correct option, right? The next one is 3 factorial. So how to evaluate 3 factorial? The correct option is you have to multiply all the numbers between 1 and the given number. So you have to do 1 times 2 times 3. So which is the correct option? The correct option is 3 times 2 is 6. So the correct option is 6, right? The correct option is 6. You have to evaluate 2 factorial. So which is the correct option? Yes, the correct option is 2. 1 times 2 is 2. So the correct option is 2. The next one is you have to evaluate 5 factorial. So which is the correct option? You have to do 5 times, 4 times, 3 times, 2 times 1. So how do we evaluate 5 factorial? You have to do 1 times, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times 5. 5 times 4 is 20, 20 times 3 is 60, and 6 times 2 is 120. So 5 factorial equals 120. The correct option is 120, right? The next one is 4 factorial. So which is the correct option? 4 factorial equals, yes, 24. It is the correct option is 24. The next one is evaluate 5 factorial. So which is the correct option? Yes, 5 factorial equals 120. The correct option is 120. Option number 1 is the correct option. The next one is you have to evaluate 2 factorial. So 2 factorial equals, that is 2 times 1 equal to, the correct option is 2. Got it? Option number 2 is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. And the next lesson is factorials. Sorry, factorials, permutations, I think the next one we're going to do. Yes, permutations it is. Let's just start with the next lesson, that is permutations. So let's just start with the example. Every summer in Lanbury, the city puts on big display of fireworks. For the year's event, the grand finale will use white, yellow, and orange fireworks. In how many different orders can the different colors of fireworks appear in the grand finale? So you are given three of the colors here. They are white, yellow, and orange. You have to see how many different orders they can arrange these three colors, right? So that means you need to do 3 times 2 times 1. 3 times 2 is 6. That means they can display three colors in six different orders, right? You can see, for example, if the colors are ABC, right? So you can, one of the order is ABC, the other is ACB, then BAC, then BCA, then CAB, and then CBA. These are all the six orders they can arrange these three colors. Got it? Let's just start with the test questions. Becky Abel, a ballroom dance instructor, is teaching five new types of dances to her class. In how many different orders could the dances be taught? So basically, you simply have to evaluate simply have to evaluate the orders. So you have to multiply the given numbers, or like for here he's teaching five dances, right? So he you can do five times, four times, three times, two times, one. Like 5 factorial, you need to calculate. The correct option is 120 here. The correct option is 120. Option number 2 is the correct option, that is 120. Trisha likes to read the Sunday paper while eating brunch. If the sections she read are editorial opinions, style, sports, and movie reviews, in how many different orders can she read them? She have four options here, right? So you can do four times, three times, two times, one. So which is the correct option? So 4 times 3 is 12, and 12 times 2 is 24. That means she can read them in 24 different orders. The correct option is 24. The correct option is 24. She can read the newspaper in 24 different orders. The correct option is 24. Right? Mr. Blackburn is arranging his class bookshelf. He has a novel, a grammar guide, and a binder. In how many different orders can he arrange the books? So he have three types of books. They are novel, grammar, and binder. So he can evaluate them in three times, two times, one. So which is the correct option? The correct option is six different orders. The correct option is six. Got it? The next one is, a restaurant is adding five new items to its salad bar. In how many different orders could the manager decide to arrange the items in a row? So he have to do in 5 factorial, right? So which is the correct option? Yes, he can do in 120 different orders. The correct option is 120. Option number 1 is the correct option, right? Rafi, an employee at a video store, will be reorganizing the movies in four sections to the store, one section at a time. In how many different orders could he organize these sections? So which is the correct option? Yes, he can do in 4 facts, right? 4 factorial equals. That is 24. Correct option is 24. Option number 1 is the correct option. Ariel works at a bakery. She needs to restock the containers of orange, purple, yellow, white, and lavender sprinkles. In how many different orders she can restock the containers of sprinkles? So, which is the correct option? One, two, three, four, five options she have, right? So that means she need to evaluate 5 factorial. So 5 factorial equals, she can do 5 times, 4 times, 3 times, 2 times 1. So that means she have 5 factorial options, that is 120. So the correct option is 120. Option number 2 is the correct option, right? Carmen makes a smoothie of breakfast every morning. Today she want to use pear, kiwi and apricot. And how many different orders can she add these fruits to her blender? So which is the correct option? Yes, she can add in 6 different orders. Very good. The correct option is 6. Option number 1 is the correct option. Jacob is getting a pinata for his birthday party. The 5 children at the party are going to take turn trying to break it open. If each child get one turn, in how many different orders could the children take turn? So which is the correct option? The correct option is 5 factorial options they have, right? Orders they have. So 5 factorial equals 120. The correct option is 120, right? Okay, the next one is an auctioneer is preparing to auction off some items in an estate sale. In how many different orders can a vintage record collection, a rare collection, a rare coin collection, a heirloom necklace, and a famous painting be presented at the auction? So, which is the correct option? Mm, 4 options, I think. Vintage record, rare collection, heirloom. 4 options, right? That means that the total orders are 4 factorial, right? The correct option is 24 orders, right? Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. So we were working on grade 7 math. The chapter we were working on is probability, and the lessons we have covered today are identify dependent and independent events, probability of independent and dependent events, factorials and permutations. So please make sure before the next session you can complete all the practice questions for the lessons we did today. That is your homework until next session, right? So if you need more help with any of the lesson, you can contact any tutor on the Skype. They are available from Monday to Friday, 5 to 9, or either You can join me in the interactive session that would be daily from 9 to 12 for today. If you have any questions related to the lessons we have finished, you can please ask. I'm here to answer all your questions and confusions if you have any. So please ask questions if you have any. No questions? Okay, that's all for today. See you in the next session. Bye everyone.